Ladies and gentlemen, this is UX and this is not yellow by the channel Vsauce. Yes, Vsauce back again. I love science topics in general, so I love Vsauce because these are nutshell channels like that. So I thought, why the hell not? Let's do a Vsauce video right now. So yeah, this is what you get when you click on a Vsauce video. This is not yellow. When he shows this the yellow picture in the thumbnail. So I guess he's gonna tell me why yellow is not yellow. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna be right on that because he's obviously Michael from Vsauce. So let's watch this one. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe so I know which type of videos to react to more. I really like to, I guess, watch any science topics. So, just hit the like and subscribe button so I can react to more science video. You'll be doing me a favor, I guess. Check out the reaction I did. There's a link in the description. Check out the cards for place with the cards, and yeah, let's watch it.
Using GPS, these trails represent pizza delivery in Manhattan on a typical Friday night. And is this a frog or a horse? It's episode 52 of IMG.
No!
This lemon looks yellow to me, and it probably looks yellow to you as well, but not in the same way. You see, here in this room, this lemon is subtractively yellow. It absorbs all visible wavelengths of light except for yellow light, which it reflects onto my retina.
Yeah.
But the screen that you are using to watch this video doesn't produce yellow light at all. In fact, it can only produce red,
RGB,
blue, or green light. The really cool but kind of disturbing thing about this is that here in the room, I am actually seeing real yellow light, but you are seeing fake yellow. Absolutely no yellow is coming off of your screen and falling on your retina. But it still looks yellow because it's quite easy to lie to the brain. Our retinas contain 3 different types of cone cells that are receptive to color, and each one is best suited to detect a certain color. One is great for blue, the other is great for green, and the third is great for red. Notice that there's no...
By the way, this green should be much higher since our eyes can detect green better than any other color.
Individual cell looking for yellow. So the way we actually see yellow happens like this. The wavelength of yellow light falls between the wavelengths of red and green. And so when an object reflects yellow light onto your retina, both the green and the red cones are slightly activated, which your brain notices and says, well, that's what happens when something's yellow, so it must be yellow. All a computer monitor or a mobile phone screen has to do to make you think you're seeing yellow is send a little bit of red and a little bit of green light at you. As long as the pixels and the little sub-pixels on them are small enough that you can't distinguish them individually, your brain will just say, well, I'm receiving some red and some green. That's what yellow things do. It must be yellow. Even though it actually is not. Lemons can also produce electricity.
Alright. Isn't that being a bit semantics at this point? I mean, in the end, what is color, right? We perceive a wavelength in, basically as colors. So it is easier for us to process, right? I mean, sometimes people can even argue that some people who are blind can basically, just by their sense of hearing, can see a picture because their hearing sensors could paint a picture in their head that they could see it, right? That's what lots of scientists say the Daredevil thing, right? The Daredevil movie where he basically hears the rainfalls, hitting objects and person, and he could actually paint a picture in his head. Because in the end, this is all just, our brain interpreting things. So yes, real light that we see every day has a complete RGB wavelength, while screens only have RGB. But, a bit of green, bit of red, and we see it yellow. It's in the end, it's all interpretation of your brain, right? That is what the colors is. So is it really fake or, real, fake, whatever? Because it's, the screens are using just red and green wavelength, combining them into making us think that this is what we should be looking at. In real world, RGB, it's more, I guess, complex. But in the end, it's just, our brain perceiving that. So, yeah, I mean, but yeah, our brain sensors are really weak in a way. That's why science never rely on anything, data that is captured by humans. You need instruments. because of brain failures, let's just say, like how Neil deGrasse Tyson says, is a real thing, right? Our mind can confuse a lot. Our mind can basically see something and believe that it's, I guess, something completely else, because our mind usually fill in the blanks, basically. If there is a gap in information, our mind will fill it, basically. That's why certain times, like how we started the video about, is it a rat, is it a horse? Our mind can actually use the knowledge that we already have and basically fill in the gaps. And sometimes it, basically stuns us. Wait a minute, that's not what that is.
A little bit of zinc, a little bit of copper, and boom, you're moving electrons around. But not that many. I mean, the current and voltage are quite low. You could run an LCD, but even a potato could do that. If you wanted to run a flashlight bulb, that would take 3,000 lemons. And if you wanted to run a halogen bulb, well, that would take 37,000 lemons. But artist Caleb Sharland doesn't care. He spent 11 hours hammering nails into 300 living apples hanging on trees. By connecting them to a household lamp, he was able to make it glow just dimly enough to capture this image with a 4-hour exposure. Less alive and more frightening are Steve Shaheen's sculptures, little dudes with bulb heads desperately trying to plug themselves in. Merv Karaman's Revitalizer never dies. It's a light bulb surrounded by wax. Now the wax melts because of the light bulb's heat and drips into a special container into all kinds of weird new shapes. But whenever you want, you can just flip it so that the new cooled wax is at the top.
Damn,
but
that's
my
awesome.
favorite is the Fukusada wooden light bulb. It looks like a solid block of wood, but it's actually hollow and chipped to a nearly paper-thin width. When you turn it on, you can see the light coming from inside.
Damn.
Combos. Artist Tang Yo Hung blew my mind this week. We've got clear days and smoke, boats and crocs,
Brain failures.
whales and hearts, pie bike, brains and boxing gloves, day and night. But don't be scared, you can always paint yourself some light, or just swing on some light. Okay, let's frame it this way: climbing wall. This fitness club in Japan uses
Yeah, so, this is such an awesome topic that, maybe he should tackle it in way much detailed videos. But do you remember those certain things? I don't even know what it's called, but when I was a kid, people used to tell me to watch it. Like if you watch a certain type of picture really, in focus, detailed enough, that sometimes it can feel like it's popping out, like 3-dimensional type of thing, right? And people are like, oh, what the fuck? Look at that! It's like magic. How is that working? Well, brain failure. Our brain basically gets confused and thinks it has a dimension to it, depth to it. So it actually feels 3-dimension, but it's not in the end. So yeah, our mind is not, our eyes and our mind is not best, right? Best to perceive things. So it has this tendency to fill in the gaps based on our common sense and past knowledge, that sometimes it can basically stun you. Like, if you see this, right? I don't know what this is basically. It's probably the floor, not the wall. Like it looks like they're climbing or something, but it's just trickery or something. It probably is that, because our mind would just be thinking that has to be floor and that's a wall. So they must be climbing. You immediately think that.
uses frames and other pretty interior elements to create a decidedly less rugged climbing wall. But let's get simple, like minimal. Thanks to Lego, here are their bricks arranged to represent famous characters. Enjoy.
Ernie and Bert? Yeah, kind of. Simpsons? Yeah. Smurfs. South Park. Oh, I see the Cartman. Big boned.
Now for some art. Illusions. Here's a cute couple, but can you see in this very same image
Yeah.
the baby they will soon have?
Yeah, there's the fetus right there. I think I've seen this photo and people talking about it.
Or how about these zebras? There's a lion hiding amongst them.
Yeah, it's
Can you
pretty clear.
Billboards can be clever, but here's a great one that makes it look like someone is pushing out a section of the building. But how many of you will remember seeing it? If we assume that you don't remember experiencing major cultural events before you're 5 or 6 years old, that means that every year there are fewer and fewer people alive who remember experiencing recent historical events.
Yeah.
XKCD made this amazing chart to show when, in the future, the majority, more than half.
Ooh, that says 2036 9/11. People will not remember experiencing 9/11. I mean, that kind of makes sense. Forgot about Dre. Okay, Princess Diana. O.J. Simpson's trial. Okay. What else is there? 2044 Michael Jackson. The Bush presidency. Okay. Hurricane Katrina. I mean, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Of living Americans will not remember being alive when certain things happened. For instance, he calculated using data from the US Census Bureau that 2012, this very year, is the first year in American history since in which fewer than half of living Americans remember being alive in the 1970s. By 2041, most of us won't remember a time when Pluto was actually called a planet. By 2043, most of us alive won't remember living during George W. Bush's presidency. And by 2047, more than half of living Americans will not have been alive to have remembered anything that you did today. Like when you made that funny face in the yearbook. No, that funny face.
Yeah, man.
If you're not following Tweetsauce,
Existential
you are
crisis
missing out
right
on
there.
daily Vsauce content, most of which never makes it to a video. So go follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, this is 2012 video. Yeah, so I forgot that not just Kazgazat, Vsauce does this existential crisis crap too. That makes you feel like, But yeah, this video was all over the place, which is not usual as far as I remember from Vsauce. He usually stuck to one topic, right? Basically, the illusion of mind, how our mind perceives things, and how our mind fill in the gaps. I don't know if he did that kind of particular video in detail rather than this, but yeah. If he didn't, he really has to do that because that's really Vsauce video. If I ever seen one, it would be fun. Alright people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down if you want me to react to any video from Vsauce or anything. Check out the Rick Sanity, there's a link in the description. Check out the cast, all the plays, check out the link cards, and yeah, I'll see you next time.